Hi, and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I am going to be bringing you guys yet another one of my used book hauls. If you guys have been on my channel for a while, you know Katie has a problem with the used book sales. Seems like there's so many of them, and when I go in, I see cheap books and I lose all forms of self-restraint. So I actually got these at my church. My church is having like its annual festival, and they always have a kind of used book sale, and I got a bunch of books. I got 10 books total, so let's get started. The first book that I got is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I am not entirely sure what this book is about. All I know is that it is a movie, and I know so many people that love this movie, so I figured I'm eventually going to see the movie, so I kind of have to read the book first. And it says it's like a bestseller, and it has a lot of good reviews on the back, so I am excited to read it eventually. The next book that I got is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and this is an adult book. It is about a circus that is kind of created, and it happens at night, and everyone in the circus is kind of connected to the circus, and it focuses on these two men, and they kind of each get their like a person who they kind of turn into their pawn, who they kind of pass all their magic onto, but then these people end up forming a relationship. I've read this and I liked it. I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people, but I thought that the writing was absolutely beautiful, and I think that this is the kind of book that I'd appreciate more when I'm older, so I decided to pick it up. And I mean, this book is just absolutely freaking beautiful. Next, I got A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I have checked this book out of the library no less than 5 times, and I never end up reading it. I have only read one other book by Libba Bray, and I think that was The Diviners, and I didn't even finish that. Although this is historical fiction, so I'm excited to read it. And I think this is the story of a girl named Gemma Doyle, and she kind of, I think, gets shipped off to school in London. She used to live in India, and this is a story of friendship, and I've heard really great things about this series. So I found A Great Terrible Beauty, and then I also found the second book, I believe, which is Rebel Angels. And the funny thing about this series is that the books get more massive as the series goes on. This one is almost 600 pages, and the last one is like 900 pages. I am very excited to get into the series by Libba Bray, although I heard that the last book is very emotionally damaging. Next, I have one of my best finds of the day, and that is The Warrior Heir by Cinda Williams Shima. This is another fantasy series by her. I recently read The Demon King, which is the first book in the Demon King series, and I absolutely adored that, so I saw this and I knew that I had to pick it up because I will read anything that this woman writes. And I'm not really sure what this book is about. I know that it's fantasy, and I know that Reagan from Peruse Project really likes this series, and it's about magic, and it sounds really awesome. So let me know if you've read this, because I don't really know what it's about, and I really, really want to read it. I have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I have already read this book. This is the first book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series, and this is the story of a teenage girl named Belly. And every summer she goes out to this beach called Cousins, and she lives at this beach house with her mom and her mom's best friend, and her mom's best friend's 2 kids, Conrad and Jeremiah. And this book is about the summer that they kind of realize that Belly is pretty, and they both kind of go after her. And this is just one of the best contemporaries I've ever read. This is the perfect book for the start of summer. It's just so lighthearted and awesome, and I'm so glad that I finally own this. So I also found It's Not Summer Without You, which is the second book in this series, and this was actually my favorite book in this series. I felt like this one the characters really grew a lot from the first book, because in the first book I felt like the characters were a little immature, and in this one there's just so much depth and heart in this book. I cried many times while reading this. So now I do own the complete series, and I am excited to reread this series sometime this summer. Next, I got Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen. I have read this one already as well. This is about a girl named Ruby, and she has been living with her mother for as long as she could remember, except her mother is a bit of a deadbeat, and Ruby kind of has to help take care of her until one day her mother runs off, and Ruby doesn't really know what to do, so she kind of gets taken by Child Protective Services, and she has to go live with her sister, who is married and lives in a fancy house. And this book really focuses on family and kind of learning to accept help. This is one of the better Sarah Dessen books I've read, so I would definitely recommend this one. The next book that I got, I actually don't have with me because I think it's still in my car, and that is a beautiful bind-up, I wish I could show you, of all of Jane Austen's novels. I do own all of Jane Austen's novels by themselves, but I just saw that collection of books for literally $1. It is hardback, all of her books, and I know I had to buy it. I don't think I'm actually going to read it because it's very, very daunting, and I'd rather read them by themselves, but it's more something to kind of have to show. And last but not least, maybe my most exciting find of the day, and that is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. I have wanted this book for such a long time now. I am so excited that I finally have it. And this is a very emotional contemporary. It's about two siblings who have a really tough home life. Their parents are either abusive or not around, and they have to take care of the rest of their siblings. And I know that this is a very controversial book because it does feature incest, but I think it's the kind of thing that I really want to read because I haven't read anything like that before, and I heard that this book really tugs at the heartstrings as well. So I've got a lot of emotionally damaging books to read this summer. So if you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you again soon.